All right, guys, welcome to a YouTube video today on unboxing for the Suorin Elite. We're gonna dive straight into this. This is just a review and unboxing. At the end of the videos, we're gonna give two other videos. It's gonna be comparison with the Smock Next Mesh, as well as an alternative to a great jewel bar band. Disposable bars that are going to be banned. These are going to be a great device. I'm going to give more tips and tricks at the end of the video. Just in this video, we're going to talk just about the unboxing, okay? So we're going to dive straight into it. This is the Elite by Suorin, okay? And this is the first 40 watts adjustable wattage pod device. I'll say that again. It's an adjustable pod device. I'm going to emphasize a lot today on the cartridge and the coil because I believe that the technology has changed so much that we don't emphasize enough knowledge about the coils because there's two different resistance and how to use those. Now, especially when there's a wattage change, when there's a wattage now added to it, I think it's going to confuse most of the masses here, okay? Because we see a lot of customers here, they're already confused sometimes on which resistance to buy. And now on top of the resistance, there's actually wattage now. So I hope that I'm gonna, in this video, towards the end, I'm gonna emphasize more on the cartridge. I'm gonna do the unboxing, show you all the features, and jump into the coils and some added tips from there, okay? So let's jump straight in. I'm gonna open up this box here, like it's Christmas. Let's get this out, okay? Kind of a nice, easy open. The bottom doesn't have any flaps. If you look at that way, it's just a push-up, okay? Notice that, right? Nice and easy. When it comes out, it's got the warning labels, how to use the tank, the caution, the instruction manuals. I'm gonna go over that with you today, so you don't need it, okay? In the box is the mod first, okay? We're gonna pull that out. Underneath the mods are two separate accessories. One is the tank, one is the coil. And so you guys all know, if you buy in the future just the tank and the coil, apparently they say that the pod doesn't come with a coil, okay? So just make sure if you are checking out at your local vape shop that you take a look at the bottom of the package of the coil, which I think we have here somewhere. Do you know where the pods are? They have been moved? Okay. Now, they may not supply the coil, okay? Now, just kind of a tip right now before we kind of move in, since we're on the subject, the tank is sold separately from the coils. The tank does not to be replaced unless, but the coils do, okay? And we're gonna dive into that in just a little bit here. I'm gonna finish up with the unboxing. It comes with a lanyard where you can wear around your neck, just around the top of the loop, above the button there. See the two holes? Okay, there's a hole there, and then a hole there in front of it. You can actually loop a lanyard around it, so that way you can wear this around. Small enough, light enough to still be around your neck so you don't lose it in your pocket and things of that nature, okay? So that's the lanyard that it comes with. It's a nice green lanyard. All right. So let's dive straight in, okay? To turn the device on and off, it's still the simple method, which is 5-button on and 5-button off. Let's do that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's gonna power up. Okay.
Powered it down.
I'll power it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's powering up now. So it powers up and powers off the same method, the 5-button method, okay? To lock your device in case you're afraid to roast this in your pocket, you're afraid to engage this on your duffel bag, your backpacks, your pockets, you hit the button, the fire button 3 times while the screen is on. 1, 2, 3. You're gonna see it's gonna go on lock mode, right? Now it's on lock mode, so when I hit the button, it's not gonna fire. It's not gonna burn your goods. It's not gonna vape. It's not gonna activate, okay? Let's turn it back off. Actually, now the bottom row, do you focus on the bottom 4 colors? You see those? Now, those 4 colors just indicates color change on the screen. I'm gonna do it with you really quickly, okay? You're gonna hold the top button and the bottom down button at the same time. Do you see it cycling? Kenda?
Not yet. It's still unlocked.
1, 2, 3 to unlock. amplifier.
Yeah, it's cycling.
There you go. So you're gonna hold the voltage down button and the power button at the same time to cycle through 4 different colors. Okay? Beautiful. So that's all it does. Now it also has a puff counter at the same time, okay? Now you could reset the puff counter if you're anal or you're trying to keep track of your hits. You're trying to gauge how much hits you're intaking throughout the day, kind of like a Fitbit. A little Fitbit. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna actually hold the fire button again and the top button all at the same time. It's gonna ask you, do you want to clear the data? You're gonna hold down, you're gonna select what you want first. Green means what you're going to select. And to select it, you don't just press the button once. You have to hold it down for about 2 seconds, and then it's gonna go back to the state default screen mode. That's how you now know it's been resetted, okay? So that's the device there, and it's a micro USB. So any micro USB, you can charge this device here, okay? It's 1100 milliamps, so it's a really big battery. Sturdy, small, at the same time, it's the size of a pager. That's what I love about this device here, okay? And at the end of the video, I'm also gonna put a comparison between this device versus the Smock Next Mesh, the pros and cons about both of them, and how to choose which device is good for you, okay, for your daily use here. So let's dive straight into the cartridges now. So the cartridge is a 3.1 milliliter, okay? What is that comparison to? I think Juul pods are 1 milliliter, so this is 3.1. So you can kind of have an idea how big this is, okay? I'm gonna pop it right out so we can jump into this pod device here. This cartridge, okay? Now, to fill your juice, there's gonna be a rubber silicone piece that you have to kind of dig up under here, okay? That's how you're gonna fill your juice right now. You see that? Snaps in. From the edge of this tank, you're gonna pull that right up, the silicone piece. You're gonna fill that right there. And you can actually see through the window because this is kind of a tinted window, but you can see it. If you put juice in it, it'll fill up to the top, okay? So just fill it all the way up to the top, okay? It's held on by a silicone end, so you just press it in and it'll kind of stay locked in, okay? Now to change your coils here, make sure you always have it upside down at all time. And let's just say in the future you get a new coil here, okay? What you're gonna do is you're going to pull this off because it's held on by a silicone piece. You see that? It's held on by a silicone piece. There's no screws or anything like that. It snaps on and off. So what does that mean? That means if you fill your juice on this side and you pull the coil off upside down, you're spilling this thing, all right? So make sure you have it upside down at all times when you're actually changing the coils out. Now, we talked about the coil just a moment ago. I'm gonna talk about 2 different coils that this device actually offers here. I don't know if you can see in this screen, but let me just take this out first. It comes with 2 resistant options here, okay? One's a 1.0, the other's a 0.4. And the difference is 0.4 is gonna run hotter and 1.0 is gonna run softer. What does that mean? That also means, actually it's down here. That also means, can you see that? So that's how you're gonna read which coil you're purchasing at the local vape shops. Just like I always say, if you're buying coils, it's like buying a light bulb at your local hardware store. If you look at both the light bulbs, they both physically fit, but one's a 12 watt, one's a 75 watt, which is gonna run hotter, brighter, meaning more vape in this scenario, okay? So we're gonna talk about the 0.4 and 1.0. On the bottom of the coils here, the 1.0 is gonna show you what wattage it has to run on, all right? The 1.0 has to run between a 14 watts to 18 watts. And the reason being is because that's the manufacturer specification there. That's the manufacturer suggested wattage there. Now, some people always think, you know what? I'm gonna buy the stronger coil and run outside of the spectrum that it tells me to because I think it's gonna last me longer. What does that mean? That means you can buy 0.4 and this one says 32 to 40 watts. Now, what people do is they run under 32 thinking it's gonna last them longer, but actually it doesn't. What happens is you actually start tasting burnt immediately, okay? So I don't suggest running outside of the duration that the manufacturer suggests you to run in between that, okay? So, now you've been wondering, when do you use a 1.0 and 0.4? Okay, 1.0, you're going to get a less vapor hit because there's a lower wattage, okay? You'll use that for in a scenario where you don't want to blow too much cloud or too much vapor because maybe you're just more of a modest person and you're trying to stay discreet, or maybe you're indoor more and maybe you're at your job and you're trying to get a quick hit. 1.0 is what you want to do. Anything indoor, anything less vapor production, you're going to use a 1.0 here, okay? 0.4 is going to give you that bigger cloud, the vapor production, the bigger hit, all right? So that's when you use a 0.4, okay? Because you want more nicotine and a bigger cloud at the same time, all right? Now, there's a quick, I want to clear this up really quickly here because we've been getting a lot of questions here on our channel saying, I hear that a 0.4 or a 1.0 cannot be used for regular vape juice. It only can be used for nic salt. Wrong. 100% wrong. It can be used for any juice, whether it's regular juice or nic salt. The difference is 0.4 is going to give you, like I said, a bigger hit. So that means whatever juice you're using, you're going to get more nicotine per hit, okay? And if you're using a lower, actually a softer atomizer, it's going to give you a softer hit now, all right? So that's how you're going to be able to use this tank here. There's no up or down. You can actually just drop it right in, okay? It's made so that it can actually just fit without you having to make sure, kind of like the Nord, the old-fashioned Nords, right? Remember, Kendo? You had to make sure it was a specific center, but the manufacturer never specified in the instructions, so it confused a lot of people. Everybody think it was broken. When they brought it back, we realized that it was just because of a specific knob there, okay? So that's the tank there. We're going to snap that right in. It's magnetic, so notice it just drops right in, okay? I'm going to do that again. It's actually pretty tough. So it's a really good magnet here. It just pulls right in, and I got to put some force here just to pull that up. So I think this is going to be a great device. Not that I recommend you drop it, but I think if you do drop it, it has a higher chance of the cartridges not popping out, okay? Now, the only time you need to change the cartridge, not the coil, is if it breaks, all right? Other than that, it's made out of resin and plastic, and the coils are made out of zinc alloy. So it's a durable device. It's a very hard plastic here, and resin plastic. But like I said, you don't need to always change the cartridge. You only need to change the coil because this is where all the stress is happening. This is where all the power is produced. This tank is just holding the juice. That's all it's doing. So there's no stress on this device here, okay? So that's everything so far when it comes to these tanks here. Now, some people also ask, can we use THC oil? Yes, you can, all right? And the reason why for this device I say yes, you can, is because there's one thing that was always limiting people from using collective oils, medicinal THC oils. Because if you look at the windows of the cottons here, do you see how big that hole is? All right, so it goes all the way around. Now, the reason why I say you could use any sort of collective medicinal oil here is because the cottons are big enough to absorb the oils, okay? Now, just keep in mind, when I use the word oil, you gotta stick with anything that's oil-based, anything that's malleable, okay? Anything that is thin in viscosity, anything that moves, kind of like honey. Anything thicker than honey may not work well with these devices here. Why? Because the cottons in the atomizers, these little white cottons all through the windows around this coil, it needs to be able to have contact, number one, but not just contact, it needs to be able to absorb the oils or the juices. Otherwise, it can't get to the center where the burner is at, and the burner is actually where all the magic is happening, okay? The burner is where the atomizer, I'm sorry, the coil, the zinc alloy coil turns red hot, able to burn the juice and atomize it in the process to become vapor so that your mucous membrane in your lungs can actually absorb it, okay? So I hope this is a little bit more of an unboxing video, but I want to give you those tricks as well too, and tips from all the years of experience we've had here, okay? So let me take a look at my notes here. Now, If you guys are wondering, can I use this device for Nick salts? Yes, you can, obviously. What if you're so in love with the different disposable bars in this world and you're like, you know what, I don't want to mess with this device, things of that nature? I suggest you get extra pods, okay? And just